Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm gonna do another game today in that series of Did I Ever Beat That Game? And today I'm playing ActRaiser, and I know for a fact I didn't beat ActRaiser because it was never my game. It was my friend's game, and I remember playing it a little bit at his house and thinking it was pretty cool, but never buying it myself because, you know, back then in the early 90s there were so many game systems and stuff that you just had too many games to play. So I wasn't about to dump another $60 on ActRaiser. Might not have been $60, might have been more like $40, but that's probably at least $60 in today's market. So anyway, I picked this up a couple years ago and I've been waiting to play it. And I'd say I picked it up, put it in the system a couple, maybe 4 months back. Maybe it was a couple months ago. And got through the first couple of levels and thought this was really fun. And then I went on to, play some other games. And I was like, you know what? I got to get back to ActRaiser because that was really a unique game. It's kind of a action strategy game at the same time where you've got different parts here. So it's a really great game. Few little flaws, but very unique. So let's get into ActRaiser and see if I have been able to beat this game. So to start off, you essentially there's a backstory. There used to be a master kind of the earth, and there used to be an evil one, and his name I guess was Tenzra or something. And the key is they were equal in power. So the master, they call him, which is you're like kind of a god, and you're overseeing the world, and you've been able to keep this evil force at bay for a long time. But he had built all these minions. And the minions are who you have to fight. Well, actually, they beat you in the past. They beat you down bad, and you had to rest a long period of time. You were able to, get away, put up a defense in your sky tower. You saw where we were up in that sky tower. Or sky, I don't know, it was not a tower, but a sky palace. And what happens is, we're back now, many, many, many generations later, and you've recovered, and the earth, essentially, or the land down below, has been taken over by evil forces. Every soul on earth that was a good, human back then has now become an evil monster. So you start out by playing in these action levels, and once you've completed the action level, you've removed the monsters from that area to a certain degree, and then people are able to re-inhabit. And of course, once you've killed monsters, you've freed souls, and those souls can be back in humans again. That's kind of the story. So this part isn't you play two parts. The part we were just playing before, the action part, it's almost like your essence goes down into that statue, and that statue is a leftover residual from the days gone by when the people, before they were turned to monsters, they were essentially making idols of you, and that's what you do. You go down and you inhabit that statue, that idol, and you come to life and you fight the monsters. And then you're this little cherub in the world building strategy part here, which I don't know, it's not exactly, it's still like action strategy, because you have to still fight monsters in this land. Because what you'll see is, at first you start out with two people, kind of an Adam and Eve thing, and they'll tell you what their plight is starting off. And one of them is, you got to clear the land, you have to use your magical powers that have been bestowed upon you by the Great One. So you're this little angel or cherub, and, you've got things like you saw lightning and you burn the bushes. And the goal after that is to then say what direction you want to build in, and of course you always want to build towards the monster pits. And inside those monster pits are all the monsters and all the souls you can get. So once you seal these pits or you kill those monsters, you then have souls that can be repopulated onto your earth. And you see up in the top right corner, you have 14 souls, and that slash after will be all the towns. So you'll see like one portion of a town of the whole population eventually. And then you also have SP, which is I think spell power or something like that. And that stuff is what you use. It's like magic, and you have to use that for your miracles, I guess they're called. And that's where you can do things like create lightning, create wind, create earthquakes, and things like that can help the land or change the land in a way where you can make it more suitable for more souls to be birthed into human form again. So it's kind of complicated, but not really. And you can see these monsters come around, and then they try and take your people. So you gotta make sure you're shooting the monsters all the meanwhile. And the town's building up during this. And the goal is to just, seal up all those monster layers, keep building the town, keep destroying the bushes or whatever's in the way. Things will happen. People will be people. So, places are on fire. Well, while things are going on, like sealing the monster layer or the town is being built, there's a little hourglass up there. And every cycle, you'll usually have something happen. So after you've gone through those periods of that, then you can do whatever moves you need. Now, of course, they're telling you, oh, we've got things on fire, so use one of your miracles again, and you put rain down, and that takes care of the problem, and then they're happy again, and they start building the town again. So it's a lot of kind of maintenance. Some people will call it like a SimCity thing, but not really. You've got some action going on. You're trying to defend against the monsters until you're able to build to the areas to seal off the monster layers. And of course, they need enough people to do it. And as you build more souls, you can see here, the more souls you get, your levels go up. Or souls, people now. Their souls have become people. And then they'll tell you about new things like, oh, there's something going on over here or over there. You got to go investigate, or you might have to use one of your powers here. You take the lightning, which is your basic one, and you go and strike down this rock, and you'll find that you discover new things. And what they do is those things they discover, they will make an offering to you, they call it, like an offering to the gods. And even though they offer it to you, you don't quite have it yet. So it's not like you just get it. So once an offering is offered, you have to go back and talk to the people. And after talking to the people, they'll then display what they are willing to offer you. So you can take an offering, or you can use an offering. So right now, this is the magic of fire. This is the magic that you use when you're on the platform levels and you're fighting all the little monsters and then fighting the boss battle at the end. And the only way you get to use this is you end up having to get this like magic scroll, which gives you one use of it. So you have to choose wisely when you're going to use it. And most of the time, you'll save it up for the boss battle at the end of each of the platform levels. And you can see the way to get to those second levels of platforming usually is they're going to have some sort of discovery in the town where they're like, oh, we've discovered this evil force, or we discovered this evil, place. Like here, it's this pit that just opened up in the earth. And they're pretty much telling you or begging you, please go fight. We've discovered more monsters. We want to populate our town. We rely on you so much. You're the great god. Please take care of this for us. So actually, this game is a lot of feeling like you're babysitting these people and trying to raise them because they cannot help themselves at first. And the whole idea is for them to become self-sufficient, where they don't need to rely on you anymore, and then you can move on to a new land. So what you want to do is you got to go in and you've got to select the magic you're going to use on the platform levels first, because if you don't select it, you won't have it available. And you will be able to get newer magical powers as time goes on, which some are better than others, and some work better on some bosses or monsters than others. So as you play through the levels, if you don't defeat everything, you're going to want to change up your style of play. So now we're heading back down to the earth, and this is you again. You're the god. Your essence comes down into the statue that was left from way in the past. And you can see there's like literally bones around your your statue there from the past. And what happens is all these monsters you're getting, they're more souls. So the better you do in this, the more points you get in these levels too, are the more souls that your town can recapture and build up and create new people with. If you remember, when you have more people in your town as it builds up, you get more experience kind of, and your levels go up and you become stronger. You get more hit points so that you can fight tougher monsters in the future. So now you see I'm looking over the land from my Sky Palace, and these are the different towns or villages or whatever you want to call them that we can build up. And you're going to want to build up each one of these, and it's going to eventually open up a final level, of course. And now you can see I have done that, and warning, here comes the final battle. So if you don't want to see the end of this, you want to play the game yourself, stop it now. But we're about to go into the final battle. And just so everyone knows, this game probably took about, I'd say 12 hours to play. And if you guys have a wonder of how many times it took me to beat this final stage, I probably played it about 15 times. Now, you fight all these guys prior, but when you fight them prior, you have your whole life to kill them with. In this part, you've got 3 lives to get everybody. So you've got to finally really learn a technique that's going to destroy them the quickest without losing life, because you're going to have to tackle multiple minions here with 1 life, or you'll never finish the game. So, again, just watch and enjoy. Once you see the finish of this, there's a nice narrative at the end that goes on for several minutes. It's quite long, but it goes on for several minutes. It kind of highlights all the experiences you've had with the people, some of the people and some of the storylines. And it won't make sense to you if you just watch it and see the end, so take it for what it's worth. But if you play the game eventually, you'll understand how all these stories at the end tie into the things that happen. If I had to rate this game overall, probably because it's not too long, it's got some nice back and forth between action and strategy, I would say this is even today for me, this is a solid 8. So if you have the ability to get this game, I know it used to be available on Virtual Console. I don't think it's around anymore. So if you already have it and you never played it, it's a good time to go play it, because it's really not that long a game. If you're not that great a player, it's probably going to take you longer. And the final boss battles are going to be the worst. You may put several hours into figuring out how to defeat all these guys with the lives you have left. And I'll tell you what, I did not look at the manual beforehand, so because I kind of knew how to play. But what I would say is, if you look at the manual and you don't want too much information, then I would say don't read the end of the manual, because there are tips in there that pretty much tell you what you've got to do in each town. Now, if you want to make it a little easier and have a little more fun, sure, that's fine. But the thing is, you need that time anyway for your towns to build up. So while you're thinking about things and what you have to do, your town's building up anyway, so you're not just sitting there doing nothing, you're thinking. But if you get stuck, by all means, go to the manual and look up those strategies at the end of the manual. But the manual is good to read the first half before they start giving you all the tips, because it's going to help you learn how to play. But, I mean, the basics I went over, that's about it. If something doesn't work, try anything, Try shooting lightning at something. Try an earthquake, which I discovered can be a useful strategy for population building. So, all in all, it's a really great game. It won't take a lot of your time, and I would highly recommend this. So just sit back if you're going to watch the rest of this and enjoy the final battle, and enjoy the story at the end and the end credits. And thank you for watching. I'm going to continue the series and just tackle more games from the past that I never owned, maybe never played, or just never finished. and just keep checking them off my list. So until I see you next time, so long, and thanks again for watching.